enforced by Bureau of Street Services. LAPD doesn't always issue citations, but if they know that it's an issue in the community, it's contributing to a safety threat, especially if you're doing it in the driveway, you know, it takes a village to get enforcement, I will say sometimes. So call it in, definitely. It helps us.
Right.
Just a brief comment on what Sid was saying. Anybody would like to know more about it, I'd be happy to inform you. You may remember that it's been 3 or 4 years ago now since this board passed resolutions in conjunction with numerous other boards here in the valley against what was going on at the Sepulveda VA facility there. And now it's gone ahead in spite of our resolution and everybody else's resolutions and the congressman's assurances that he was against it. Nonetheless, it happened. There's $40 million being spent of federal money rehabbing one of the buildings over there, and it's not even necessarily for veterans. There's other things going on in West LA where the Brentwood School District that really needs the money, of course, is getting free VA land. Well, no, $1 a year VA land for their recreation facilities. UCLA baseball team has a very nice stadium over there on VA land for $1 a year. Basically all the land that the VA owns, these hundreds of acres, is being stolen a piece at a time. There's a lot going on there, and I'd be happy to inform anybody some of the details of all what's going on. I've been following it for a number of years and fighting it along with this council in years past in vain. It just keeps happening. We're hoping that the new head of the VA will be more receptive than the last one was, but so far we haven't seen any signs of that. There's a lot going on there with the homelessness. There's a lot of empty buildings that could easily be turned into housing for homeless veterans, and the VA has never taken any action to do that. And they'd rather give the land away a piece at a time. There's a car lot there, there's a laundry, a big commercial laundry there on the VA land. It goes on, the list goes on and on and on, and it gets worse every year. A lot going on in that subject.
Okay, so back to the street vendor motion. Any other comment? Okay, if there are no objections from the board, we would like to call the vote unanimous in support. Okay, then we'll take a roll call vote. All right, Bill Cotter?
Yes.
Darian? Yes. Okay. Greenwald, yes. Sid?
Yes.
Bill Hopkins?
Yes.
Raheem?
Yes.
Ralph?
Yes.
Zach?
Yes.
Scott?
Yes.
Ray?
Yes.
Karen?
Yes.
Rob?
No.
Vanessa?
Yes.
Jan?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Victoria?
Yes.
Donna?
No.
Okay, 2 noes, motion carries. Next.
Yeah, just let me respond to Ray about the West Los Angeles VA. There was a court ruling. I don't know if you know the history of the VA. The VA in Brentwood, that land was deeded to the federal government as a facility for veterans in perpetuity. The VA wasn't obviously in violation of that. They were taken to court, and the court agreed that the land is only for veterans. So all those things that are there, the stadium, Brentwood, all will have to depart the VA even for $1 a year. That they're not entitled to that use. That's what I understand the court decision. That's why all those acres are open now. Anyways, let me get on to the next one. As you know, minimum wage is a big issue in the city. The city has passed an ordinance about hotel employees, minimum wage, and they're looking, I believe the mayor is looking at expanding the minimum wage. Our committee discussed this, and we felt that this would put the city at a competitive advantage with disadvantaged other cities like Glendale, Burbank, Pasadena, that wouldn't have a minimum wage. And it would drive more business out of the city of Los Angeles than at present. And we felt this is really a state issue, that if there's going to be minimum wage, we don't think it should be done in a piecemeal fashion by every little town and every little city. And so we felt it was really detrimental to the business and the city's financial stability, even though on the surface it looks good, we're increasing the minimum wage for people, things like that. We felt it should be done on a statewide basis. So,
Any comments or questions? Anybody object to this? Okay.
I really don't understand on exactly what it's saying. Does this only apply to the city employees?
no, we're saying the city they want to set a minimum wage for their own employees, that's fine, but any other employee within the city, that's should not be set by the city. The city should not be setting the standards. That's something the state should be doing generally.
All right, if there are no objections from the board, we would like to call the vote unanimous in support of the motion, and the minutes will indicate a yes vote for all.
We have a comment.
Okay, Mr. Kuzma.
Would you, before you vote on the motion, would you please restate it? But before you do that, I just want to say I am in support of this because I do feel that minimum wage should be a state issue and that the city's involvement in trying to do this for a certain sector of the group of the city is just out of their jurisdiction, really.
Absolutely. Okay, so the GHNNC recommends that the city not be involved in implementing a minimum wage structure outside of the salaries for city employees. Okay, if there are no objections from the board, we would like to call the vote unanimous in support of the motion, and the minute taker will indicate a yes vote for all board members present on the vote count form. Thank you. Go ahead, Sid.
The final one has to do with the city trash ordinance for setting up zones for business and other commercial enterprises. That's already been passed. There's already an ordinance there looking into how they're going to do these zones, how they're going to be, who's going to get the franchises, things like that. And the rationale for its passage was that this would cut down the traffic, pollution, blah, blah, blah. And we had opposed it in the past based on the fact that we felt it really is aimed at big employers who have lots of trucks, who can provide it. It's going to cut out any small person. It encourages unionization, etc. So we felt there was at that time, and we passed that resolution. I checked the file. I didn't find that a CIS was a file. And even though it's been passed, we still can attach the CIS and we're opposed to it. And the reason that I bring it up now, there are people collecting signatures to have this as a ballot initiative to oppose the establishment of franchise zones. Once it's on the ballot, we can't take a position. So I felt if we've taken a position against it, make sure it's attached to the ordinance so that it's out there in public domain.
Okay. Well, and I think all three of these should be on community impact statements. Does anybody on the board have a problem with that? Okay. We don't need that. That is a motion. It's just an okay to go ahead and post it. And I think all three of those should go. Okay?
Thank you.
As soon as you get him the password.
I will.
Before we do it, I did the minutes of the meeting. That has to be attached to any CIS. Okay.
All right, moving along. Thank you very much, Sid. You put in a lot of time that people don't understand how much time you spend at meetings all over town to keep us up for training, so we appreciate it. Bill, Parks and Beautification?
Did we have to vote on that last item?
No, it wasn't a motion. It was just restating a motion that we've done in the past and been putting on it for a community impact statement.
Great. Parks and Beautification, we had a meeting on January 13th to discuss the proposed cleanup to occur on January 31st this month. I want to thank Rob and Donna for coming and Zach for sending a delegate. Otherwise, I would have been very lonely because we had an incredible turnout of one stakeholder from the entire community. A little disappointing, actually very disappointing, but we're going to continue the effort nonetheless. The plan is to begin at 8 a.m. at the corner of Cessnon and Balboa, having any of the younger participants work on Cessnon because it's a safer situation from traffic flow, and then we have other older ones to work on Balboa. We've gotten excellent reception from Megan as far as providing tools and other items that we need. We would not be able to do this without the councilman's office. And also Rob has volunteered to help with water and other sundry materials for supplies. We will be sending out another email blast to let the constituents know that we will be doing this. Also work with Megan to get it into Councilman Englander's newsletter to go out. Any other particular organizations that anybody would like to suggest to work on this, please contact me, because again, if we can at least do one little niche of this street, make it look better, we can eat the elephant a bite at a time and work on the next block the next time. But if any of you can participate, again, 8 a.m., January 31st, Saturday, at the corner of Balboa and Cessna.
What date? No.
January 31st, it's a Saturday. Also in parks, we've had a tremendous issue, as I'm sure people noticed, with wind lately. We've had a fair number of trees destroyed in the local parks, and the Parks Department has been very good responding to these from a safety aspect.